Well, first of all, Alex, let me correct you on something. All the Bin Laden raid SEALs were from SEAL Team 6.
No, I know. I'm talking about the helicopter that later...
Right. But all the SEALs that were on the Bin Laden raid were from SEAL Team 6, and as I understand it, all the SEALs that were on this helicopter likewise were from SEAL Team 6.
Yes, sir. That's what I'm saying.
But there were more. There were like 22 of them.
Yes.
And the question is, and I know where you're going with this because I've thought about it also. The question is, were the same SEALs that were on the Bin Laden raid on this helicopter? And that, unfortunately, I don't know if we'll ever know because no one's even going to know who the Bin Laden SEALs were.
Okay, I do know. This is what I'm telling you, and this is dangerous information. Okay? And again, this is directly...
Well, you're ahead of me because I don't know. You know, all I know is it's a speculation that I took was, oh boy, the 22 SEALs that went down in this helo, were they the Bin Laden SEALs, and would they have done that to shut them up?
Well, let's look at this from this perspective, Governor, and then I'm going to tell you what I was told, and I want to get your expert opinion on this. And again, when I got you on as a guest, I hadn't even thought to bring this up, so it just popped in my head now, so I'm going back to the data, so it'll take me just a second to be exact here. What I was told through a wife of a SEAL who was not in SEAL Team 6 but is currently serving, was that the SEALs got on the helicopter at the Bin Laden raid. This is what witnesses all saw, and that it blew up and had some type of bomb on it. They didn't blow it up, or that they were killed, and that Pakistani military came and got the bodies and got the helicopter. That has since come out on Pakistani TV. And that was that big diplomatic row and fight with their governments. But that was just from this wife of a Navy SEAL. And I confirmed she was who she said she was, but But
let me interject something, though, Alex. SEAL Team 6 is so secretive, wives don't even know about it.
Well, I was going to go further, though. That's what I'm telling you.
Let me explain. I have a friend who was on SEAL Team 6, and his wife had no idea that he was.
Well,
that's how secretive Team 6 is.
No, I understand.
Wives don't even know if their husbands are on that team. So I would be a bit skeptical of your information, on that basis alone.
Well, listen, that's why I was saying I didn't go with that info because I couldn't confirm that. In this other case, this is a current SEAL who has a friend who is in SEAL Team 6. He was not in the helicopter, the second helicopter that went down. But that what he said is the SEALs are angry and think that either Al-Qaeda or somebody else set them up, put them on the National Guard helicopter, and that it was some type of assassination. So that's the info I have, and that is directly from the father of the Navy SEAL.
Okay, I can't comment on that really because I know nothing about that, but I don't know. I guess all I can say is, Alex, in light of the stuff I do and the information I've gathered doing my TV show and the other things I've looked at, nothing is beyond. I don't put anything past anyone anymore. So I'm not going to say this could be true or couldn't be true, but I certainly wouldn't say that it's not so. I can't say that it very well could be. Who knows?
Let me ask you.
That's where I'm at now, Alex. I don't trust my government at all. I mean, I just happened the other morning to watch the movie on Pat Tillman again. And every time I watch that movie, and I recommend people, it's on Showtime now, I think, or whatever, called The Pat Tillman Story. I urge people to watch this and watch and see how despicable our government was in the death of Pat Tillman. And the worst part about it is the very end when all these generals and big shots are brought in front of Congress, and they say, I can't recall, over 90 times. Over 90 times in their testimony. These guys obviously are suffering from bad cases of Alzheimer's. And I say that sarcastically, naturally. But at 90 sometimes, I watch the Pat Tillman show and I just fume with anger, the Pat Tillman story. So I do not trust my government at all today. I don't trust a word that comes out of them. They're a major pack of liars. I don't think I can be any more blunt than that.
Oh, I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, take Private Lynch. 5 of her team suddenly got killed when they came out and said that she wasn't the hero, they said. It was a PR stunt to get women in frontline combat. And they did the fake raid that Jerry Bruckheimer directed via satellite on the hospital where they said, hey, come get her. And the Iraqis had pulled out 2 days before, the Iraqi military. You have Pat Tillman basically being assassinated, the cover-up of that you were just alluding to. But specifically, Governor Jesse Ventura, underwater demolition team, Navy SEAL, a whole 9 yards. When you heard that members of SEAL Team 6, part of the same unit, went down, the biggest one-day loss of life in the 10-year history of the Afghan war, and it just so happens to be the Navy SEALs, and as God is my witness, talking to the father of a Navy SEAL that my family's known for a long time, I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
It says, yes, my son is good friends with somebody in 6, and he told him that the whole team thinks that either Al-Qaeda put a bomb on it, but then they think it might be the government because it was real weird how they were all put on this junky helicopter. They, never use these National Guard helicopters, and they usually split them up, and they thought the whole thing was suspicious. And Remember
this, Alex. That's the first thing you look for in conspiracy and government. I'll just state this, and I have no knowledge. What you're telling me, I can't add to it. I can't say you're right or wrong. But I will say this. In all of my dealings in doing conspiracy theory and writing my book and doing everything I've been doing in the last over decade now, the thing you always look for with government is when there's a violation of standard operating procedures. When government violates a procedure that they normally will or won't do, whatever it might be, and believe me, it's that way in the military, it's that way in regular government. Everything government does is done under standard operating procedures. When those are violated, that's your first sign that something isn't kosher. That's your first sign that you may have a cover-up, that you may have a conspiracy, if you want to call it that, whatever name you want to give to it. But the first thing you look for is a violation of standard operating procedures. So if your SEAL is giving you the information that they were put on a helicopter that they don't normally fly, and if this, that, and whatever, and if things didn't seem normal and very out of sorts for what they were being asked to do, because let me put it to you this way: the SEALs today have unlimited money.
No. Listen, that's exactly what the father said.
Alex, we used to have to beg, borrow, and steal back in the Vietnam days because we weren't the #1 unit then as far as guerrilla warfare, not in the guerrilla warfare community, but the focus of the general military back then was on conventional military. Today that focus has changed because conventional military today is obsolete. Today it's on small unit tactics and guerrilla warfare, which is the SEALs are the best. Also add in the Delta Force, who is very good, the Green Berets. The list goes on and on of the small unit guys and what they do. But so it seems strange to me that today when the SEALs have unlimited money and resources at their disposal, that they would all of a sudden put them on a helicopter that isn't one of theirs. They all are working together with their helo pilots, their boat drivers. That all took place after the fiasco in the desert of the Iran hostage raid. You remember that one?
Sure, the Delta Force.
Everything got all screwed up. Well, that changed everything at that point. And it changed it to the better, to where they put the helo pilots, the boat drivers, are all under the same command, and they work with the teams every day.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's exactly what the father was saying. I was just crystallizing it. But they said standard operating procedure wasn't followed. They used equipment they never used. They used a junky National Guard helicopter. The mission was weird. They asked him, why are we going out to this site? Then they said it was SEAL Team 6 that was involved in the bin Laden raid in Reuters. Then they said it wasn't. Then they said they were going to after Taliban in a rescue mission. Then it wasn't. That was the whole point, was the whole thing was a lie. And that, quote, and again, they couldn't believe their own government did it, so they said it's as if Al-Qaeda was had a mole or something and had put a bomb on there.
Well, I think that's giving Al-Qaeda a lot more credit than they deserve.
Sure, but the SEALs are then having to wonder, what happened?
You know, again, Alex, I can only state that I don't trust my government officials at all today. Not one bit.
Let me ask you this. What did you think the minute you heard that helicopter blew up?
Well, naturally, it gutted me because it's my teammates. It's my people. You know, it doesn't matter if you're an underwater demolition guy from World War II or the most elite guy on SEAL Team 6 today. We are all one fraternity. We are an elite fraternity of very special men who go through the most difficult training in the world in hopes of being the best sailor we can be and defend our country. And so what happens to me when I hear that, I cry. Because when they die, a little bit of me dies. That's how tight we are. And it doesn't matter through generations. I'm class 58, and today they're up to class, I don't know, 290, 2 something or other way up there. I don't even know. But it doesn't matter. We are all brothers. And so when the SEALs die, I cry. It hurts.
All right, Governor. Powerful information. Stay there. I want to get into 2012 election and more straight ahead. We are back live, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us today. Former Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura is our guest. In the time we have left in the rest of this hour, we'll get into the upcoming TV show with Sean Stone, who looks just like Oliver Stone and really smart guy. Of course, another great director in his own right and researcher, Tyrell Ventura, another chip off the old block. So certainly the next generation of tyranny fighters with the show Conspiracy Theory. Jesse, when you get him on, never talks about his books, but I would add that you support Jesse and his work and our work when you get them from us. It's Jesse Ventura with Dick Russell. This is a great book. 63 documents the government doesn't want you to read. Available, discounted at Infowars.com. And, of course, his last book, American Conspiracies, the one before this one with Dick Russell, is also excellent. Before he leaves us, we'll talk about some of the new books that are scheduled to be coming out as well. But, Jesse, finishing up before we get into TSA, before we get into all these other subjects, during the break you were saying something a little more. A light bulb was going off from your underwater demolition Navy SEAL days about the 22 crammed on with 12 others on board that helicopter. Well,
the light bulb was, again, like we talked about, Alex, standard operating procedures, and generally a standard operating procedure, to the best of my knowledge in the SEALs, is it's 1 platoon per helo. And a platoon is 12 enlisted and 2 officers. So clearly, if that's true, there was a violation of standard operating procedure right there. There were too many SEALs on board one specific helicopter. Normally, they would have divided that into 2 to 3 helos.
That is exactly what the father said his son, the Navy SEAL, said. And again, I know the family.
Sure. Well, then things haven't changed that much because I've been out for 40 years, you know, but it's still pretty much the same rules would apply, I would imagine.
Well, it's just incredible that the entire SOP was different, and then it just so happens to be SEAL Team 6. Again, the biggest one-day loss in troops.
Well, and I'll tell you the sad part about it being SEAL Team 6. These are all career men. You're not going to find a guy on SEAL Team 6 that's wet behind the ears and just left high school or college a year ago. These are all combat seasoned veterans, probably with 2 to 3 to 4 tours to Iraq and Afghanistan on regular SEAL teams. You know, and so SEAL Team 6 are guys that have been specially selected to do that type of work. Not that all the SEALs could potentially be qualified for SEAL Team 6, certainly. But 6 is basically made up of. You're not going to find many 22-year-olds, I don't believe, in Team 6. Most of the guys are going to be between probably 27 and 32 years old.
And they've survived a lot of deadly missions.
Absolutely.
Only to be blown out of the sky to keep something secret. I mean, it's come out now that the bin Laden thing, they had a fake Situation Room photo. They lied and said Obama was watching it. They lied and said they had live feeds. They lied, threw him in the water.